Hi, it's Peter Zalums, Griniflix Adventure 8, and welcome to another video. Yes, today I'm actually in Alice Springs at the National Road Transport and Hall of Fame Museum. It's one of those unique places in Australia, and particularly Alice Springs. And I'm lucky today I'll be interviewing Nick Prus, who is the CEO and director looking after this amazing place, and we'll find out more about what is there to see around here, what's unique, and a lot of the history and the heritage behind transport, road transport and rail transport in Australia. I've got Nick Prus, is that how I pronounce you?
That's correct.
Nick has recently taken over the National Road Transport
Hall of Fame. It's owned by government,
Yeah.
correct. It's been established about 25 years ago and run successfully for a number of years. And we are in a process of making it into something bigger, better, and operationally sound.
I've only been here
6 weeks.
6 weeks,
6 weeks, yes.
and so each day is something new.
And never the same. Never the
What's
same.
been some of the biggest challenges that you faced?
I think one of the biggest challenges I'm finding is we desperately need a curator. We've got some pieces here that are extremely valuable to Australian history. I would even say probably the world trucking history. Some of the trucks that open Australia or been used extensively to Australia are trucks that been driven all over the country. And I think what we would like to see here is the history behind them. But the actual story behind it, who driven, how many million kilometers. There are pieces there with 4 million kilometers on it. So that's one of the challenges I'm facing, and the normal operational. We, at this moment, only have one employee, that's me. The rest of it are volunteers, which are absolutely fantastic, and we couldn't do it without them. And we struggle on every day on just sort of around the place. And anything from reception to maintenance to cleaning, all is done by volunteers. So that's the challenges. And also aging infrastructure. Nothing actually has been updated for years or upgraded. Like any other place, that's sort of a place that runs by volunteers. And it's not really supported in a permanent way by our government grants. We don't have annual government support. I actually came here last year as a volunteer. I had some time off and between the jobs, and I came in to say, have a look at it and see if I can help. And I fell in love with the place.
And as a child, were you interested in trains or cars? Or?
Oh, everybody loves trains. I love trains myself, but at the same time, there was a period in my life where I'd actually driven trucks for about 3 years in America, and that sort of that love stays with you once you get behind the wheel. Even if you don't want to do it, I would never do it again. It's there. At least you understand the challenges that the trucking industry is facing, and daily life of a truck driver. That helps me here to actually find a good communication and relate to the people that come over here that's been behind the wheel. We have a Kenworth hall or a museum, 9,000 square meters. We have 18 brand new trucks. What Kenworth does, when they produce the new model, they bring the new truck here. Wow. So at worst, we'll have 2,000 kilometers on the clock, at best 0. And that's something that is really unique in the world, that any company would actually do this. On top of that, we've got another 11 trucks that have been restored, that have been used for different companies and been then painstakingly restored. So when you look at it, you actually see that wow factor. Under the roof, there are some pieces that are irreplaceable. When you look at the first one as you walk in, a director series Kenworth, it is really a work of art. Not only that, the Kenworth is the last vehicle made in Australia. Something definitely worth seeing, and we're extremely grateful for Kenworth for their support, and that they keep on bringing the trucks here. So that's one of the highlights. There are some really old and valuable pieces that you find in a red shed. Some of the arguably probably the first car with a rooftop tent on it. That's a green Dodge, and it's also powered by wood. So you just burn wood in a little engine at the back of it, and that's how it go around. The train, the locomotive you will see as you come out is actually a GAN locomotive. It was running trains in the, I think, 50s or 60s, and then on the back shed there is another locomotive that it's running and also been used to pull GAN trains. And also there in the shed at the back we've got a steam locomotive, and from, I don't want to be quoted, I was told it's the oldest one in Australia. We would love to get this one back in operational, but we're talking serious money to get it up and running. We'd love to get this one by the end of this year to start having functions here, so people get feeling of what was like in 70 years ago, 1950s, when those carriages are from, to be on this train. Well, not everybody can afford or is interested to get on a GAN from Adelaide to Darwin. First, the cost, and second, it takes 4 days. But if you can replicate this here, you've actually been on a GAN from 1950s. That I see this as a huge attraction for the town and for us, of course. It's a dream, but you never stop dreaming. I have to say that the local government here, people in local government, are extremely helpful. I don't think I've seen so much support from a government in my lifetime that I'm getting here. We need to look at what we can do ourselves here. We can't keep on relying on that somebody's going to go and write the check every year. So part of my work is to bring this up to the spot when we do get 100, 200 people a day. Any support would definitely be appreciated.
Well, why don't we go have a look at some of your favorite pieces?
Thank you very much. It's all stainless steel. It's 70 years old, and it still looks like it's been used yesterday. 1950s dining car. We have a mini train, mini gun, that actually runs alongside here, which when it gets a little bit warmer, we will have it running. So it runs from here all the way around the whole facility. You basically sit on it and enjoy your ride. Not just the kids, actually most of it are grown-ups. Yeah, everybody loves riding a train, especially the little ones. So we created a little forward entry hall that houses the Ford keys. We have a collection of old trucks. And what I was saying earlier, what I do need is something that will say everything about that truck. Something that will actually say, okay, it's Aurora, who owned it, how long it was running, when it was purchased, how much was purchased for, how many kilometers it's got. We keep on reorganizing this step by step. Well, one of the interesting things here, which I'm not sure if it's replicated anywhere, is our Hall of Fame. Okay, what we've got up here, and if you look around, we've got a Transport Hall of Fame. So the people that are on those pictures are people that are important to the trucking industry, that spend years driving trucks or running the trucking companies. It's got the story behind the drivers and the company directors and the truck owners that built this country. Preserving sort of a sang heroes of Australian transport. We wouldn't know that there was so many of them and what they've done. And this helps their families, helps the future generations. And I think it also helps if we could get more children through here to just show them, guys, look, it's not simple to be a truck driver. Just start reading the stories behind and you'll see the hardship, you'll see how many hours, you'll see how many days, how much they actually put into, a love into driving a trucks. It's not just simple as hopping behind a wheel. This year, 2021, At this moment, we have 70 people that are going to be inducted into this Hall of Fame.
Fantastic.
We're in a Kenworth Hall, and the first one, which is one of my favorites, is of course the Director Series. All the trucks with the white and red stickers are brand new. This is one of the probably bigger ones and one of my favorite ones. And then we've got number like this, 1976, which's been really carefully and restored with a lot of love. As you see, looks like practically brand new.
It's almost like an aircraft, isn't it?
Yes, if you go to other ones, this is nothing. They got more gauges and stuff. But it's something that, yes, you can think that probably would be a good with all the displays. This is the first Kenworth truck designed and built in Australia. 1971. And we just brought this one, drives beautifully. It's my favorite here. I would say it's probably the blue 2017 grille and the new sleek lines. And this is 2019. That one is just fantastic to drive and beautiful to sit in. Very comfortable. I wouldn't mind being behind the wheel, that one. I think this is a fantastic way of showing to anyone, to especially overseas visitors, what it looks like. They don't drive just on the normal roads. They actually spend a lot of time on the dirt roads. When you think about it, a driver here has to be able to change tire, has to be able to do basic stuff to the truck, because he can't rely on a mobile mechanic to come and, help him if he breaks down 400 kilometers from nowhere, or even 100 kilometers from nowhere. This is what I was talking about, the lack of information. I was told that this particular piece, was used by diggers or Australian soldiers in World War I. It is a four-wheel drive. It probably could be restored, but it's just sitting here without any sort of a further or really detailed information about it. When was used by which actually troops, and so it just sits here. We would love to get someone who can help with sending us more information about these things.
Yeah, because tyres are going to be your biggest challenge, isn't it?
Well, that's why I need a full-time mechanic, practically. This is an interesting vehicle. If you look at it here, it actually says it's been designed in 1930s as an all-wheel government experimental truck. Apparently only 3 produced.
So it's got front turning axles,
yep,
and rear turning axles.
Correct. This truck would apparently hold 8 of those.
8?
Yes. And they are designed, the axle, this actually turns. So you could hold 8 and turn and actually make a corner. They're all of them like that. So it is actually very, very unique. And again, very important piece of Australian trucking history that needs to be preserved. But just imagine if you had 8.
So each one of these is 20 meters or 30 meters?
Approximately.
And so times that by 8, we're talking about 240 meters.
Again, that's what I was told. That would have to be proven. Somebody would have to go back to the records and see if that was the case. This is again could be one of the told stories and driving stories. We have a memorial pond when people actually spreading ashes of the loved ones, truck drivers that want to be buried here, or the ashes want to be here. It's right over there. Late at night, I can feel there's some of them are among us. So it's good that they look after their own trucks.
So we've got friendly ghosts.
So far, it is important to preserve this place because it's just along that memorial park. It shows how important this place is. Now, if someone to choose to be actually buried here, it just again emphasizes how serious and how much this place means to a lot of people. Look, we've got a few people buried here, or the ashes scatter among, and we only had one, 2 weeks ago. A couple brought their friend to be buried here. So it's not just a museum. It's not just a place with a lot of rusted trucks. I think it is an important part of not only transport industry, but I think also Australian heritage.
Nick, I really appreciate the time that you spent with me. I think you've got a really important story to tell, and hopefully with this video we can share what you're doing right now and the passion that you've put into the whole project. But more importantly, for all the truck drivers, all the transport drivers, whether it be trains, this is an incredible story, and a resting place for history, a resting place for people as well. So I'm actually quite moved by what you're doing here. It's incredible.
Thank you very much.
If you would want to find out more about the National Transport Hall of Fame,
just Google us.
So there'll be some details in the YouTube video below, whatever. Do subscribe, like.
Of course, thank you. And one more thing which I haven't mentioned, we do have a camping facility.
Camping facility.
So you can actually come and stay here.
Excellent.
So, we do have a powered and unpowered sites. You're very welcome to come and stay with us.
Fantastic.
And then, yes, please do subscribe.
Thanks, Nick. Really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Cheers.
Take care.